Hello everybody and welcome to Wild Earth this morning, and for the first time this season I'm in trousers, so it gives you an idea of how cold it is here in South Africa this morning. We reckon maybe about 4 or 5 degrees, so quite chilly, but hopefully it's going to be a stunning sunrise again this morning. No mist to greet us, but at least it looks like it's quite red in the background there. And my name's Tara, and joining me on camera this morning is Sebastian, and back in final control is Craig. So if you would like to join us for our live safari here, then please do. It's going to be around for 3 hours, and hopefully we'll see some magic this morning from the African bush. But let's get back to that sunrise because I don't want to miss it. It's just timed just right at the moment that it's just a couple of minutes before the sun does actually rise over the horizon there. So I think we might as well wait and enjoy, and you can hear it's very quiet at the moment, but as soon as the sun peeks over we might just be able to hear a lot more birds calling. I can start hearing the francolins already, so listen out for them. Like, doot, doot, doot. And we'll try and see if we can get an update on what happened last night. So far I haven't heard anything, but I'm convinced something was around here in this area. With the waterbuck snorting yesterday at the end of drive. Still, we couldn't find anything by the time we got out onto the road. But the vultures certainly seem to see something, remains of what the Majingilans left. I don't think there was too much, but they came down roughly around 10 o'clock, I think it was. I quickly nipped up to the house. And they were all circling in the sky and came down, sat on the ground for a few minutes and then flew off again. So there must have been something, or maybe even just a smell of something, that brought them down to investigate. But from where we were, we couldn't see anything. And I think most of it had been taken by either hyena or lion. It's very quiet here on the open area. I think what we're going to do is drive around the other side and have a look to see if there's anything that side. I've been past the baboon trees, but sadly they're not there. I think they're staying over another night, so I'll have to wait to see if they're back tomorrow. How's that for a Lion King sunrise? Welcome to Africa, everybody. Told you it's going to be spectacular. Although it's still very still, very quiet. We had a few more birds with the mist yesterday calling. Ah, I see some zebra over the way. They're waiting for the first rays. Zebra. Maybe this way. Oh, hello. A bit on an angle here. Oh, there we go. I'm just moving to the left of the screen now. I actually saw him with these 3 mares just a few days ago. Someone's snorting over there. Zebra aren't really taking too much of an interest. Oh, I can see the impala now that's snorting. Quite far from the distance there. It's the male. He's more over that way, but I can't see him now, he's disappeared. And the guinea fowl are now calling too. In quite a hurry. Make his way down towards the dam. I'm just going to see if we can turn around. Seeing any stations down on drive? Are there any updates this morning? Being left behind. Oh, pearl-spotted owlet calling. Actually, the tree I think it's sitting in is just in front of the sun. Oh, there he goes, yeah. Gone. I was hoping he was going to come and sit in one of these trees. One of the smallest owlets that we have here, the pearl-spotted owlet. And that was the end part of its call. Rhino's made his way down here as well. I just want to check out down here because the guinea fowl were calling, not too much, but they were calling. Full part of the pearl-spotted owlet call. There's the guinea fowl, they're flying now. But they have been leading us astray this week. They're usually pretty spot on, so then they're flying but not calling, but we have seen that as well. Let's have a quick check down here. I think, was it Sandy? I'm sure a few other people are also asking, when's Mark going to be back? Mark's just gone on leave just a little bit early because we thought that fixing the mast might take a little bit longer. So he went on leave about a week early, so he'll be back a week early. Yeah, I'm just thinking that it'd be nice to get a shot. I just want to have a quick check here. This is where the guinea fowl flew off from. Just seeing if we hit it locally. No one's calling now, unfortunately. Second sunrise. Thinking maybe a bit further along, I reckon. Yeah, it might be quite nice. Now the birds are starting to sing now. Hippos in the mist. reasons why we don't hear as many calls. Good morning. So many calls from the birds as we usually do in the summer, as a lot of the migrants have left this time of year. So we have migrants, and they tend to double the bird population. I think it's around just over 300 in the summer. And a lot of the dawn chorus is to do with territory marking, holding on to territory. So you do still get some calls, but obviously not as much in winter, because there's not usually as much breeding that goes on in winter. You still get some territorial calling. There's another set of hippos further down the way, is just answered. Hi Kim, good morning to you. Kim wanting to know, do we still hear woodland kingfisher and birds like that calling through the winter months? The woodland kingfisher is one of the migrants. So, oh hello, got some geese flying in from Chelapan. So we don't hear the woodland kingfishers. They tend to fly to more northern parts of Africa from where we are, along with other bird species. It's that very loud chirp chirr you only really hear during the summertime, and that's when we know spring has arrived, when we hear the woodland kingfisher. We do get the resident kingfishers too, like the pied kingfisher and the brown-hooded that we saw yesterday. And they tend to be a little bit more vocal this time of year. It's quite funny, as soon as the noisy woodland leaves, they seem to find their voice. The same with the rollers as well. The rollers tend to be quite loud this time of year. There's the Egyptian geese that just flew in. I was hoping we might just see a spotted cat strolling down the road. But it all seems very, very still. So, I think we'll carry on. Let's go onto the western side of quarantine, make our way down towards Chelapan, and then maybe come back just in case. I'm going to drive over the wall. But we shall see. Plans might change. But I just want to quickly show you a pearl-spotted owlet for those people who have not seen one. I can quickly show you here. This one here. Sorry, not this one. This one down here. So that's too easy. Right down at the bottom of the page. These two here. There we go. So that's the pearl-spotted owlet. And the two little black dots on the back of the head are very characteristic. And the streaking on the front of the breast. And it can be easily confused with the African barred owlet, which is actually the one that I pointed to begin with. You can see it's got spots on the chest, and on the back it's got these streaks. Whereas the pill-spotted owlet, it looks more like the spots in the back here. Certainly the head looks very different on the barred owlet, with all the stripes around it too. So that was the little owlet that was calling, and I did the impression of. Okay, I'm starting to feel the warmth of the sun now, so I'm going to do a lemur. Thanks, Cindy. I'm sending through some information of where the Majingilans ended up. And apparently, Nkoro said they were down towards their way, down towards the Bushbrae. But we have the little Bushbrae site up here for Voyatella. And every lodge has a site like that. They can go and have drinks, or they can go and have dinner out or breakfast. So you're actually out in the bush, which really is one of the best experiences you can ever have, having a meal out in the bush. Apparently the 4 Majingis have met up and they're now with one of the Styx females, which is possibly where the 4th one was all along. Maybe he was still with the female. Definitely thanks for that update. Appreciate that one. Hi Melva. Good morning to you too. Good to hear from you. And wanting to know about the crocodiles, I'm sure a few other people also want to know. Has it moved on since it got colder? Oh, we don't know. Crocodiles can go into hiding. He might just be somewhere just out of sight. Or he may have moved on to a different hunting ground. But crocodiles can survive on very few meals. He did have quite a big meal fairly recently. I think he ate pretty well, so it could be that he's still processing that food. It could be that he's just not had any hunting opportunities. Could be any number of reasons. Oh, hello, woodpecker. I can see all the impala here. You might see them better on the other side. Let's have a look here. We're going to do just a lap around because I didn't get a chance to have a look down that side for tracks. Impala's got a lot to say this morning. Oh, hello.
I don't know what's wrong with the pin out there.
I'll just right the world there. There we go. Still marking with a gland in between his horns. Still calling. On the opposite side, and we'll see how we go from there. So we'd like to check out around Chilapan. Still no sign of Karuda's tracks, but she is almost like Houdini. Sometimes she can just disappear and then pop up somewhere and you don't see any of her tracks. I'm still thinking she might be around. She may have just gone further into the drainage line here. But one of her other favourite areas is Impala Plains, so it might be worth us checking out that area too. Hyena movement. All the way down to camp. Now, our camp actually lies just over the other side there. Anybody wants to know where Phantom Control is? We'd normally take this road, just go down to camp. Someone was asking, I didn't quite catch who, but someone was asking what the shortest day length was, where we are with that. I think it's actually, it should be coming up in this month. It's the same as the longest day in the northern hemisphere. Remember, while the Earth tilts, we have our shortest day. Penny, thanks Penny. I think it's around, it usually falls around the 21st, doesn't it? Someone can look it up for us. It shouldn't be far off. It always amazes me how early on in the season it is actually. The same with the longest day over here and the shortest day over in the northern hemisphere. I think it's around December time, isn't it? And yet the days always seem to get shorter and shorter over in the UK, but I suppose that has a lot to do with daylight saving time. Very little movement from the animals this morning here. Maybe a lot of them are still sleeping. Got the early risers, the zebras and the impala. Going on down here. Thanks, Craig. Craig's just saying that the vervet monkeys are calling down outside Funnel Control, looking down towards the lodge, so I think we do need to have a little look down there. So it does seem that something. Oh, hello. We have some leopard tracks here. Crossing over. Somebody's looking on the river around here. It's funny. This area, you kind of take for granted because it's kind of on the doorstep. So it's always, you have to generally come through here to get to most of the places. And you kind of do take it for granted, and sometimes you don't look eagle-eyed enough. Let's go and have another look down towards the dam. This is the biggest open area that we have, and it has seen cheetah here. Apparently there was a female cheetah that used to hunt here, but she ran into a branch or a small stump or something. So I think it actually put her off from hunting here. Get utilised by many different species. Okay. So we'll go down here and come up the other side if we need to. Although maybe it might be better going down this way actually. Where we've just been actually. We'll just do a lap around Quarantine. Keep going. If the monkeys are by final control and they're looking down to the lodge, it might be worth us also just having a look down there. I don't think there's any guesting camp either. See if we can hear anything. So I'm hearing the geese now. Not hearing anything up here. Okay, I'm going to sneak down here. Maybe as we drive down, we can just turn the camera to have a look in here. Turn the camera just to have a look in here. I did just hear geese calling. So they're in the tree over there. And the francolins are calling through there. Trouble is, we've had this scenario before. They're calling, but they don't tend to give a direction as to, oh sorry, as to where the problem is. Maybe we need to check in the drainage line. Okay, it's getting a lot there, but let's go on the other side and go down into the drainage line and have a look. I couldn't hear the monkeys calling that side. There's a lot of noise from the vehicles. These guys seem to keep complaining about something. Hi Valerie. I like it. Stormy. Name for the baby hippo that was born just after the storm. To see how it goes down with everybody. I think someone else suggested moi, as in beautiful in Afrikaans. I'm gonna say moi, man. Beautiful. Just need the waters just to recede slightly so we can drive along the front, because at the moment we get cut off. Good morning, I think it's just myself this morning.
Okay, Leopard, any updates so far?
Very well, thanks. Hope you are too. There's Luta at the moment. I'm just getting a lot of calling around by Gary Dam, so I'm just checking it out.
Okay, I'll give you a shout in a little bit on quite for ingress. Check that if you guys get anything, we're allowed to come across, so I'll give you a shout probably in the next half an hour or so. Should I say to you guys all form and get you guys? For this well, the vehicles and investment properties. One the daughter's trying to make with the young people.
Well, Pete, thank you very much for the update, Ryan. I'll let you know if I do see anything. I did have some ingoing consuls on the southern side of quarantine, heading north.
Okay. I'll probably in a couple of foot there, then and then I'll give you a shot.
Copy that, enjoy. Apparently, Ryan was just saying that one of the Majingilans was seen trying to mate with the young Styx female. I think that must have been this morning. So, making our way. That's too nice to miss. Can you get that chegger in the branch there? He's all fluffed up. There you go. Black crowned chegra. I think it used to be called a 3-street chegra. That's just too nice. We were trying to have a look at one yesterday. It just wasn't helping us. It's too nice an opportunity to miss because you don't often get a chance to see these little birds. You see that hook on the bill with that close. That's fantastic. Characteristic of the shrikes. This is the black-crowned chegra, TCH. I can still hear those geese calling. So let's keep going, just in case there is something still moving around, but we had to stop for that. Definitely. So I really wouldn't be surprised if Karula just came further in here with those cubs, with the Majingilans being around. The monkeys apparently were calling down towards the lodge. It could be that there's movement on the other side, but with these geese calling, I just wanted to check out down here too. This is where I needed to split myself in two again. It'd always help. It would be nice to catch up with Our Lady, especially after the storm. I know everyone's a bit worried about her after the run-in with the Majingilans. Marching the line, lions. And they do, they really do. I mean, they don't tend to stay in one place too long. When we met up with them, they really were on a mission. They came here, they rested for the day, they turned around and went back again. They are starting to become quite impressive males. Okay, geese, show me where the problem is. I'm still hearing you. See, the problem is with the geese is that they could be having a problem with other geese. They're in the tree just up ahead. And with them standing right on top of that tree, they could be seeing the problem anywhere. So it would be nice if we had some monkeys just to also point us in the right direction. I wonder if the monkeys are still calling. So I didn't hear anything when we were up there. And leopards do hunt goslings, and they do hunt the geese, so they can be a threat to them. I wonder if we can get through here. Let's give it a go. Looks like someone's actually been through here. Okay, guys. So you got two looking that way, one looking this way. So I don't know, see, this could be because of the two. Because I thought it could be two adults and a chick. And he's still calling, even though they've flown off. Okay, let's drive on a little bit further. It does look like the water's actually receded quite a lot because we couldn't drive around here. still that way. Hey, Mama Hippo. Sorry, lady. Just have a quick look at her, but she's... There's baby. We'll have to see which one everyone likes, Storm or Moi. For the little baby hippo. But this goose still seems pretty adamant there is something of danger around. Something of a threat, but blacksmith lappings aren't calling. Okay, I'm hearing the guinea fowl starting to call. It's not a call of worry. Okay, now it is. It's starting to get there. Hey, Mama, where's baby? Oh, there's baby. Okay, I think we need to have another look maybe on the other side of the lodge. The goose has stopped his calling now. So that was the baby that was born a few days after the storm hit. Ooh. Didn't see that. What was that? Note to self, try and avoid driving off-road into the sun. Although it doesn't usually help. Okay, Seb, I think all you need to do is just run up ahead. See if we create some interest. It's unusual for me because unless he can still see the other geese, as soon as they flew off, he didn't look like he was trying to be aggressive towards them. He didn't show any sign, which makes me think they were related. But then he did fly off with them. A bit of a puzzlement there. I remember we had the two geese flying in, so it could have been something to do with territorial. Maybe because he's on his own, maybe he doesn't have his mates. Maybe that's why I wasn't acting too aggressive, but the others sounded like they were calling as well at one stage. I'm seeing geese become quite aggressive. And will actively fly at the others and chase them away. The fact that he still carried on calling after they flew off. Oh, now he's busy preening. Hi Diana, good morning to you. Welcome on board. And another question which I'm sure is on a few people's lips. What's happened to Mishu and Induna? I'm going to sneak back through here again. Oh, now he starts again. Okay, he's just flown from where we just saw him preening. Oh, the other two are coming in. Okay, maybe that was something to do with those two. Okay, that doesn't help me, mister. Or Mrs. They've settled down over there. Okay, so maybe this calling was because of them. There we go. Okay, he has actually... I think he did actually attack. Well, at least that one clears that one up. It's still a bit odd though. Oops. So this is what I was saying. It could be a predator, it could be other geese. And he's still calling over there. Okay, so back to square one again. I don't know if you can see, there's one in there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, he's actually attacking that one. There we go, look at that. Or is he trying to... Oh, okay. No, he's actually mating. I take it back. Looked like he actually dive bombed her. I want to just see what's going on here because I'm not 100% sure. Because they shouldn't really be mating this time of year. But it does look like it. So mutual grooming there as well. Quite amazing. They're actually did look like he was being quite aggressive towards her. So this is the pair. So the other male, who's been constantly calling us, is back on the other side there. So he flew off from the tree as the other two flew in. So that was the pair who were sitting together on the tree by the looks of it. Okay, now one of them's going over to him now. Let's see what happens there. Oh, are we able to have a look at the ones over that side? Because that's what. You see them over there. The one in the water is the one that flew over, that was just being mated. And she flew right up to him, with wings out again, almost like a threat. There you go. You see that head being thrust out, almost, as I say, just forcing them out. Something very, very funny is going on here. And he's going back to his tree where we first saw him, just opposite us. So unless they're trying to take over this territory now that maybe he's lost his partner, maybe this pair is trying to come in, intimidate him and push him out. There we go. See? Chasing him out again. It does look like it is possible for them to breed this time of year. Let's have a quick check, which is news to me as well. So there you go. Apparently, it may be possible for them to breed all year round. So that honking is actually the female, and that almost hissing is the male. That So just listening to the other one calling, I think that is actually another female, which is possibly why the female was flying over and chasing her. Just trying to get to the bottom of this very interesting story. So this is the first time I've seen just two trying to push out one. As I say, they both, as a pair, are territorial. They're quite interesting. By the sounds of their calls, it does sound like it's two females and the male. And the one that's complaining up in the tree is the male. Is the female, sorry. Now this may be a very common goose that we get here, but certainly watching behaviour just makes it so much more interesting. And as I say, it's easy to take these birds for granted because you see them so often. But this is the first time I've seen this situation. If you listen very carefully, you can hear that difference in calls. You can hear the francolins calling now. Unfortunately, I think this might be going on for a little while. But as I say, it's always nice just to take the time just to try and see what's going on and try and understand what's going on. And it gives you just a little bit more insight into their lives. She's still going for it, and I think this calling might continue until the other female, unfortunately, relinquishes this territory. And it seems to be quite a good territory to have. We often get pairs coming in, but the pair that were here tended to hold on to it quite well. But unfortunately, I think with the appearance of the crocodile actually ate a lot of the chicks and possibly even her mate. And for a long time, we weren't sure if it was a male or female. So it's nice to actually put that one to bed, so to speak. And it turns out that the female is the one that remains here. But unfortunately, I think today she is going to lose her territory. But I've definitely learned a couple of things just by watching them. So the gander is actually on the ground now, and it seems to be between the two females shouting it out. Hi Jody, good morning to you. Wondering if these geese mate for life. And I'm pretty sure they do. They are monogamous, and as I say, I always thought it was just the one breeding season. I thought it was just through the summer, but it does seem to be that they can breed all year round. I just had a quick look in the bird book. As I say, just seeing the mating. At one stage it actually looked like he was trying to sit on top of the goose and trying to drown her, and then just by grabbing some of the feathers on the neck, just showed that he was actually trying to mate with her. And then there's that stance there, and the fact that just afterwards they had sort of mutual preening. But those wings out can be used as aggression as well. I've seen that when we've had the two pairs around here, and both pairs had the wings out and they were chasing each other. It's the first time I've seen it being used in a courtship And it almost looked like he was actually dive bombing her. That was what was so strange, because I thought, well, this fits in with the whole scenario that's going on here. And then all of a sudden, it turned out that they were actually mating. But nowhere in the literature have I seen that they actually mate for life. I just know that they're monogamous. So let's say from what I've seen here today, I'm pretty sure it will be for life. Let's have a quick check here again. Yeah, see, it just says monogamous, as many books do. It doesn't tend to give too much information. Oh, hello. You found flying again. Because when they're not breeding, they go through this molt, and they go through a flightless molt. Quite often you'll find a number of geese together, and that tends to be this time of year apparently, or sometime during this time of year. But again, every time I've seen Egyptian geese, it's only been 1 or 2 pairs around, so I've never seen those big flocks. But that's when they won't be territorial. They'll flock together in safety. But it would make sense if they are life partners. Okay, well, let's leave them to it, because I think this debate's going to go on all day, but certainly quite interesting to see. Okay, Now, why are you flying? Let's go and have a quick look. Inside. And I'll have one more swing around the lodge, and then we'll move on. So I'm trying to just up our chances of bumping into one of the leopards just by driving around the same area. I'm pretty convinced there is somebody around here disturbing the peace. I was in the middle of answering a question about Mishu and Induna, wondering if they have been seen or if they've moved out the area. And Mishu we haven't seen for quite a while now. I know there was... So there's the guinea fowl here. If they're still on the floor, it's funny because I saw them flying off there. So Mishu, I think, may have gone over into Buffelshoek. And they did see a leopard apparently yesterday, but they didn't say who. Unfortunately, there was too much static on the radio. I was trying to ask, but I had my suspicion it could have been Mishu. Induna seems to still be sticking around here. He seems to be the one that we've been seeing most often. And I think he was seen just before the storm, actually. It was actually the same night the storm hit. We had... the night before. One of the two. But he had a kill in the tree just over here, just outside the house. guinea fowls in training. There we go. Chick. The family's back that way. Okay, well let's go and check out Zoe's road. We'll just quickly have another check down here, just in case. So we got to go that way for Zoe's road anyway. And then maybe Chelapan. Just see where those, because those tracks look like they cross over onto the centre part here from the southern side. That was one of the Leopard's tracks. And exactly where it goes from there is anyone's guess. I didn't see any tracks coming off that side. So it could have just popped out over here, and there's a lot of traffic coming down that little bit. Makes it difficult to see. Let's have another quick look. And good morning to you, Susie. And you've read my mind. I'm still looking for something to show you this morning. To give you a bit of a quiz this morning. I haven't seen anything as yet. Look down here, just out of interest. See, the hyenas don't tend to pose a threat to the monkeys, so we've got a lot of hyena tracks down here, which could indicate something. The monkeys shouldn't have been calling for a hyena. You find animals only call for things that are a direct threat to them. So that's why you don't really get impala calling for a raptor, for example. But you'll get a squirrel calling for a raptor. The geese also might call for a raptor. But if it's a small owlet, probably not. Comes back to, I think someone was asking about a crocodile and why animals don't seem to call if there is a crocodile around. When a crocodile is on land, it doesn't really pose much of a threat, and they don't tend to hunt. A threat, because animals can generally see them on land. It's when they're in the water that's the problem. So we haven't really seen animals calling when the crocodile's out, but when they do start calling is if someone has been killed, or if the crocodile has been seen hunting in the water. The baboons were barking. There was actually when an Egyptian goose gosling was plucked from the surface and the baboons were close by. I think Graham said Huey was actually drinking at the time. And that's when the crocodile struck and the baboons went absolutely all out, shouting and screaming. Everything's very quiet. Okay, Zoe's road it is. Little dwarf mongoose here. Into my plants. See them from there. Now this one's quite a prime example. You'll often get dwarf mongoose calling if there's a leopard around, but we've actually seen a colony sitting there watching lion. And lion, they may kill mongoose, but they'd have to be pretty hungry to really turn their attention to the smaller things, which can happen. Lions can even eat termites. But a leopard, on the other hand, may. And especially the leopard in this area, Mishu and Induna, have both been seen killing and eating dwarf mongoose. So they would be a threat to them. So as soon as they see a leopard, an alarm call will generally be given. But maybe in areas where they are not hunted by leopard, they may treat them as they treated the lions the other day. Watch them with caution, but not actually give an alarm call. The lions were lying down as well, so again, they weren't in a threatening position. Thanks, Rosie. Rosie's saying that Mishu's mentioned a lot in the Arethusa blogs, so that means that he's more southwest from where we are. That's quite interesting. So he's gone pretty much the same way as his sister, actually. Shadow, or as we know, a Tingana. Heading down that side. And that's where Safari, his grandmother, is too. Quite interesting. Thanks, Rosie. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to have a good look at the tracking reports from Pam and JJ. And just sort of saying about giving alarm calls for predators, and depends on if they've had the experience of being threatened by that predator, or even just the stance of that predator. And it goes for the same goes for us. If we get a colony that's not really sort of driven by very often, you tend to get them calling a lot. You get that high-pitched squeaking sound. But this colony is right outside the lodge, so they would be very used to vehicles coming up and down here, and they would have learned a long time ago that they don't need to worry about humans and vehicles. And you see, they're still looking at us. We're still odd, but we're not a threat to them, and there wasn't any alarm call given at all. And I'm sure they are loving the sunlight at the moment. it is. I think ears must be just the easiest thing to grab hold of. Every animal seems to go for an ear when they're playing. Check that one, that one's almost falling off the termite mound in the centre of the screen now. There he goes. Kind of trying to grab a hold of something and just couldn't. They just went with the flow. I've got a very big soft spot for these little guys. So comical. Okay, well, let's see if we can have a check around Zoe's Road in Chellapan. Thanks, guys. Someone's hiding in that drainage line. I think at some stage they'll pop out. Ryan. That was quick, zebra. Different herd. We're a different herd. Beautiful light in them now. Yeah, sure, Susie. Susie saying they are cute until they rip your face off. That's Mongoose. I see. Now I would be very concerned. Sure, look at this. It's amazing. You get some very relaxed zebra. I think I would be very concerned if they were the size of leopard. But certainly, unfortunately, people think they make good pets, and they definitely don't. They're a very big family animal, the banded mongoose and the yellow mongoose and the dwarf mongoose, and unfortunately people will take a single one on and have it as a pet. And if you don't give that animal a lot of attention 24/7, they can actually become very aggressive, and maybe that's where Susie's talking about. I'd like to know the story behind that comment, Susie. I'm sure there is one. But certainly anyone out there thinking, oh, it'd make a wonderful pet. No, definitely not. But I missed, someone was asking about the families, how big the family size can get. So apologies, I can't remember who it was that was asking. The family size, the average family size for the dwarf mongoose is roughly around 30. But again, it really does depend on the area. So you may have smaller families, maybe 10, 15. You may have slightly larger families. But 30 would be about average. Look at this. You even see the hairs on the chin of the zebra. It's amazing actually when you start looking closely. Many animals have the hairs on the chin, and that helps to feel the ground, and obviously how close your nose is to the ground, and even your lips. And even just with one scratching there, you can even feel what you need to feel on your body. A couple of nice healthy zebra. The mane standing up on end. The zebra's not healthy, it'll tend to flop over to one side. Do not adjust your set. This one's even got spots. Yeah. Look at that. Have you ever been that close to a zebra before? I wonder if we can actually just zoom in on the ears, because you can actually see how much hair is there. And the size of those ears, you can see them twitching like mad. It really is going to alert them to any danger in the bush. And if you see them when they turn around, you can see the amount of hair, there we go, that protects them from maybe insects and dust and anything like that getting into their ear. Sometimes it's still an irritation. We've got the ever-present fork-tailed drongo, especially this time of year, watching for any insects. Is disturbed. And it is also believed that zebra can see some form of colour as well. And they do have pretty good eyesight. Actually, the muzzle of a zebra is very soft. And again, being a diurnal herbivore, you see those long eyelashes, which also may help to protect the eyes from the sun as well as any dust. Same as some of the other species we've been seeing recently, the ground hornbill and the giraffe. And these two look like they've seen something. Oh, there's an impala just to our right that's walking. I wonder if that's what they saw. One of them's looking right at it now. Maybe it's just the movement of the impala that side. And there's very little wind at the moment, so they're not going to be able to get much information from the scent. I've broken the concentration, so I think that's what it was. What's quite interesting is the zebra behind us. They've been looking at each other and just watching each other's movements. And I think with them putting their heads up, the zebra behind us is also watching now because they've stopped feeding. So there's a silent communication going on here. He's watching them, he's watching them move. Back to grazing. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to move. There's a vehicle just behind us. Thank you very much, ladies. Vehicle go by. Back to grazing. So let's continue on. Way down towards me, go forward. Last shot of them. Saying goodbye. Look away. Again, just behind the bushes now for us. Well, that was quite special, I think. I've never been that close to a zebra before. So nice to see so much detail on them. It just goes to show it doesn't have to be a big animal to have something magical in the bush. It's always useful as well just to see how they react to even just antelope moving through the bush. Because remember how often we come across an animal and we can't see the other side of the story. We can only put into context, and that's why it was important for me to stay with those geese and see exactly what was going on, because those sounds that you hear, they can be used for predators as well, but to actually see what was going on and try and understand it just helps you to understand it a little bit more, so when you do come across a scenario where you don't have the other side of the story, or it doesn't come to that conclusion in this bull, well, it does help you to maybe come to the right conclusion in the end. There he goes. Don't run away, mister. It's amazing, these bulls are so much more skittish than females. Can you still see him there? Not really. Only forward. Yeah, as soon as you stop the vehicle. See him through there? Is he gone already? That's a shame. Stunning kudu bull. There's one and maybe more, though they can be on their own. Got here. Now, this could be interesting. Aha! This could be very interesting. Okay. Let's have a look. Let's see. My lead is a little bit short today. I'll just see if I can park here. Okay, I'm just going to jump out quickly and see if we're going to be able to have a quick look at this trout, but just wait just 2 seconds and I'll see if we can, otherwise we'll move a bit further on.
I think it's fine.
I feel like I'm going to the Antarctic. I'm sure I look like this thing. Well, your balaclava's come off now, hey?
Yeah.
Okay, you need to guide me. I don't want to drive over those circles. So I hope you guys have got your thinking caps on. Okay, how am I doing on that circle? That's the 101. Okay, are we in the shade? Oh, is it? Okay. If I pull around a little bit like this, or... There? Awesome. Okay. We're good to go.
Alright, sun's down.
This is the one that we want.
Which one?
Let's see. Can I help you there? Oh, actually, yeah, this one. Okay, there's the sun. So, for those of you who haven't played along before, This is going to be a tracking quiz, so if you'd like to send your answers through, send them through via email to questions@wildearthsafari.tv, and all you need to do is put in the subject title what track you think this is or what it belongs to. Now when you're viewing tracks, if you've never viewed tracks before, you need to try and have the sun behind the track so it casts the shadows. So we're going to come down. Okay, so actually this little one here, you can see that. There's a tiny little pad. Again, I need to be on this side. I can use a piece of grass maybe. So a tiny little pad just here, and then the toes just here. And if I put my thumb next to it, some of you might recognise it straight away. But for those of you who are not too sure, also have a guess as well. But this is the first track here. So if I put my hand next to it, you can get a size comparison. Because I usually forget to bring a ruler out, what I've done is to actually take parts of my finger and thumb and try and put a marker to it. So if I put my thumb down, is how I would to measure it. So around here is roughly about 5 centimeters. So this is probably about, let me say, about 4 centimeters. That gives you an idea. And I just saw. Oh, there we go. I don't know if we're going to be able to have a look at this little creature. Just there. I don't know if we're a little bit too far away. Whoops. It's too fast. No, too fast. Maybe if he comes towards you, you can have a look. See him there. Where's he gone? Oh, there he is. See, not all praying mantises are green in colour. Depends on where they live. You get some that will run around the ground like this one is doing, so it's quite dark in colour to blend in with the vegetation. If you look at this leaf, it blends in extremely well. You get some praying mantises that will actually sit on flowers and there will be the colour of the flowers. You get some that will sit on the grass or twigs and they will be the same colour. But you can tell just by the stance that it's actually a praying mantis. He actually sits up and the two front legs are held in that very characteristic pose, and that's where they get the name from actually. If I can maybe encourage him just a little bit closer to you, you might be able to put the camera on the ground so you can actually have a closer look at it. Or close to the ground.
No, it stops here.
It stops there.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. He's gone now. He's in here. So yeah, he's disappeared. But he holds his feet, sort of his front feet, so curled round. So actually where they curl around like this, they hold them like this. And just along here and this part, there's these tiny little spines that once they do catch something, they can actually hold it. And those spines will actually hold it in place so the animal can't slip away. And they actually start using their jaws to start eating. So not a great way to go. Praying mantis. And he's completely disappeared in here now. Cool. Well, that's the tracks. So track 1 being the longer track and track 2 being the shorter track. So if you want to have a go at both or just one, then send through your answers. And as we're driving around, we'll see what comes through.
down.
Cloudless sunny day here in Juma Game Reserve in South Africa, and what better way to spend the day than driving around looking for the wonders of the African bush. And the beauty of it is, with us being live, we don't know what's going to happen. As you saw with the geese and even the zebra, you can't predict what's going to happen, and that is one of the best things. This could be something just around the corner. Just like this. Red-crested koran. And a very rare glimpse of it out in the open. Not too sure about what's going on. Now, I'm so upset we haven't been able to see the display of this bird. It is probably one of the best displays for a male trying to entice a female to mate with him. Often known as the kamikaze bird, because these birds will fly up maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 meters up into the air, and all of a sudden they'll just close the wings and fall back down to earth. And that apparently excites the female, attracts her. And he'll also give a little call as well to announce the fact that he's going to be doing this. So if you get an area where you've got quite a few korans, you can actually see this behaviour. Look, unfortunately decided to fly off. But what's quite interesting is you can actually tell the males who have had experience and the males that haven't, the younger males. Because the males that haven't had the experience will often fall and just crash down to earth. Whereas the males with a bit of experience have decided actually that's not such a bright idea. So right at the last minute, they'll open the wings and land gracefully. The red-crested koran. So we're on Zones Road at the moment. We're just going to hop around to Impala Plains, see if there's anything that's been seen close to the boundary. Ryan Ryan. Jules saying Impala and Dwarf Mongoose. Good start, Jules. Unfortunately, not quite right, but at least you're on the right lines. Susie, even closer. Oh, there's a baby kudu saying bushbuck and a mongoose. There goes baby, and mum's just here. Oh, we might not be able to see the male. Dot with the waterbuck. Nice one, Dot, but still not quite right. Susie being the closest so far. Okay, well, Kudu's run off, but apparently an elephant is... Ah, there it is. Destiny saying aardvark. There is the elephant. Destiny with aardvark. Just because, and I missed the reason why. Hello, lady. What's wrong? Look like you're on a mission there. Good morning. I think this is the elephant that's lost the tip of her trunk. I did hear someone saying that she was around. Just want to have a look at that trunk. Does look like it. Yep, it is. And now her adopted calf. Looks like it's able to get some milk from her. I think it's the same elephant. I've only really seen 2 elephants with the tip of the trunk missing. Now we're not too sure exactly why they've got the tips of the trunks missing. Could be a couple of reasons, one of which could be due to man and putting down snares, and if the elephant finds a snare and it wraps around the trunk, it could cause some injury. But you can see she actually does cope with that injury. It may be for some reason bitten off by another elephant. When they greet each other, they quite often put the trunks in each other's mouths. Now if there was for some reason some aggression, it may have just been bitten off. But sadly I think the more likely scenario is down to humans. Hello, little one. Come on then. Now they might find some torchwood fruits underneath this tree. If you were with me yesterday, we found a torchwood that was trying to throw its fruits at me. Looks like there are some more elephant tracks underneath us. So I wonder if she's following the herd. So we shall carry on with the track quiz in a little while. Stations, I've got 2 and Love on Zoe's Road junction with Rebecca's. hoping we could roll, but unfortunately Gunder is staying put. Come on, lady, you're going to come out into the open. It looks like she might do. It's alright, lady. You see, she's still got a good sense of smell by the looks of it. Using the trunk just to sniff out what's under there. But the two tips on the end are missing. And the two tips can give them just a little bit more dexterous movement. Almost like a finger and a thumb. So instead of being able to take maybe a blade of grass, she'll have to take a whole clump of grass. And again, the fork-tailed drongo, watching their every movement. Oops. You see the little one just sniffing the trunk of the tree there. Alright, lady. What's that for us? Hmm? Are you smelling something under there? The little one scratching look. I think she was just smelling something under there. a beautiful lady, eh? Unfortunately, the bush willows are a little bit too dry now by the looks of it. It seems sniffing it out. You can see every movement. Look at him. He's trying to break that little bit of branch off the end. But look how he's using his trunk. It's almost caressing that branch and smelling it, maybe smelling other elephants that have come by there. It's quite interesting what she was doing there. And say sometimes elephants will throw branches or thrash their head around in a bush or just rustle the bushes in sign of unsettlement and intimidation. And I think she's still not entirely sure about us, but she's not really showing aggressiveness towards us. It looked like she was smelling something, but she did kind of move the branch. So quite, not aggressively, but she put a little bit of force behind it. And she didn't linger there too long, so I don't know if she was actually moving it to try and look for something under there. It did look like she was smelling something. You're going to come round again, little one. You see he's using his foot again on that little stump. Maybe he's got a bit of an itch on his foot. And again, look. Smelling all around. Reminds me of a little kid up to mischief. And they try and look all sweet and innocent, peering around the corner, just picking at something. And it could have been her way of just saying, you know, putting us in our place, just saying, just stay there. But she just seemed to be a little bit more relaxed after doing it. Maybe she was just testing to see what we would do, how we would react towards her, or do something. Quite interesting. He's biting his own trunk, look. He's sucking on your thumb. He's definitely in a very mischievous mood, look. Pushing over the sapling. So he keeps springing up. Now, I hope you're going to eat that. Okay, no, I'm just going to play with it. Yeah, I totally agree, lady. The flies are buzzing around here, and you can see every so often they keep trying to bat the flies away with their trunk. I'm sure it was the flies that were irritating her then. You're getting left behind, little one. See, he's raised his ears up a little bit and he's kind of just walking. He's not too sure. His tail's also raised a little bit. Quite interesting there. She calmly walks away. Let's say she certainly seemed to relax a little bit more after that. It may have been a combination of factors. It's certainly quite interesting. Well, shall we continue on? I'll leave them to it. Heading off into a little bit more thicker bush. If we catch them around the corner, we'll see them again. Where did we get up to? Oh, Destiny. Destiny was saying aardvark track, but I didn't hear the reasoning why. Not quite right, Destiny. We're right on the antelope trail, and for the smaller one, a carnivore trail. Hi Betsy, good to hear that you're on board. I hope you enjoyed seeing the elephants. Hope it made your day there. And this time of year, when there's a lot of food, you do tend to find the herds, the smaller family units splitting off from the herds. But it could be she's in contact with the rest of the herd, and it could be she's on her own. It could be that we're just not seeing the rest of the herd. So there was a few other elephant tracks crossing over. It could well be either one. But I think that is the female who lost the tip of her trunk that adopted the calf. Because I know that seemed to happen, because the last time we saw her, she wasn't lactating, and it seems to be that she's actually started lactating now. I'm pretty sure it is the same one. She had a tear in her left ear. Maybe someone's able to help us out. I think that's... There's been two. There's one with half a trunk missing, and there's one with just the tip of the trunk. It could be another female altogether. But I think it was around this time last year we actually saw the female. Oh, there's a little steenbok just here. Unfortunately, with me reversing, it means that we've seen it, so it might run away. It may stay put. Okay, it's staying put for now. Little male steenbok. I'm freezing, you're not seeing me. I'm blending in. He's just enjoying the warmth and the sun. It's actually starting to get quite warm now. One of the dwarf antelope that we have here. And probably the smallest, actually. I think the grey Dacre is just a little bit taller, not much taller, but certainly a little bit more of a stockier antelope. It's a shame we don't get my favourite dwarf antelope here, the Klipspringer. Directly translates as a rock jumper. They prefer much rockier areas, and they walk on right on the tip of the hooves like a ballerina. And they also have straight horns like this one. But they're quite, the fur's quite dense, and it has air pockets in it, which helps to cushion the body, because when they're fighting they actually throw each other off the rocks and they can fall quite roughly sometimes. This is one of the plains antelope. You usually find them in sort of grassy areas like this. The Dacre tends to favour more thicker bush, but here we get the crossover between the two. As I say, this is a fairly open spot, which is ideal for them. And quite a nice relaxed steenbok by the looks of it. And there you go, lying down and hidden away from the eyes, seen no more. Oh, nice guess, Rosie. And you are correct on your second guess, but not quite right with the zebra. There was definitely the two sides to the hoof there, so we're definitely on the right tracks with the hoofed antelope. Closest so far was the bushbuck. Raisa saying Nyala. And the second one is correct. also saying impala and serval. Impala would be slightly smaller, and it's, if you think about an impala, they're quite a dainty antelope. They're quite a, for me, they always seem to be really well groomed and in good condition, and they really have this daintiness about them. And the track is very similar. In it's very dainty, very pointed, and very neat track, if I can say it like that. So not quite impala, but at least we've got the cloven hoofed. And the civet, you're looking at civet, a much larger track, probably about this sort of size. Quite round, well the front one's quite round, the back one's quite oval. It's quite a shape difference there, which is quite distinctive. Thanks, Rosie. Rosie saying that possibly the elephant with the trunk or the part of the trunk missing that we saw previously had a slightly fatter trunk than the one that we just saw. I can't remember the size of the baby. I do remember, I think it was a male, Rosie. I think we're right there actually. It could be another female, could well be. But I do remember that female being slightly on the aggressive side, which she was a little bit uncertain about us. Ooh, what do we got here? Lion tracks heading that way. Lion tracks heading that way. Old lion tracks though. Oh, I got sidetracked. We were going to have a look at Impala Plains, weren't we? Oh well, we're pointing in this direction now. We're going to have a quick scoot around Treehouse Down. So, no one's got the right answer for track 1. We do have a couple of right answers. It was a genet for track 2. Genet roughly about the same size as my thumb. Very distinctive little track, and once you see it, once you get it, it's quite a nice one to remember. So it was a little bit unfair because it wasn't completely clear, but having the thumb for a size comparison may have just given it away. So that track, if you get a really nice clear one, you may be able to see 3 lobes on the back pad, but otherwise you see the 2 lobes quite nicely. And 4 little toes. So a genet. Let me show you a picture of a genet. Someone was actually asking the other day about a genet. What it looked like. We did see one on Drive a couple of days ago. Just do this very, very quickly, just for those of you who haven't seen a genet before. Beautiful little animal. Nope, that's a civet. I want a genet. There we go. So this is what we saw the other night, the genet. The large spotted and small spotted. We had the large spotted the other night. You can see these large spots, also known as the russet coloured. Russet coloured genet, because these spots, even though this picture doesn't show it, these spots are quite rusty in colour. And the small spotted, I see many small spots, both have ring tails, and this beautiful long nose. There we go. So this beautiful long nose. So a little bit more pointed than a cat's, but they are related to the cats. No, they are in a different family. So that is the genet, and probably about the same size as a domestic cat. I'm very curious that who the track was belonging to. So we're still waiting for the right answer on the first track. Those 2 elephants as well. The station's left the 2-in-glove, fambering in a westerly direction from Rebecca's and Zoe's Road Junction. Open lock. So I'll give you guys a couple more minutes, have another think. I reveal what the answer to the first tracking question was. Seems to be quiet at Treehouse Dam. Cheryl and Raisa, well done. I was just about to say, maybe it stumped a few of you. Having the right answer for the first question. Kudu was the answer. And the reason why I said bushbuck was the closest is because there was track on track. So remember, with kudu and bushbuck and even dacre, they will often walk track on track. So where the front foot goes, the back foot go directly over the top, and that was what we were seeing. We were seeing the track, the back track over the front track, and you're just seeing that little part registering from the front track, which is what I was pointing out to begin with. The size of it was a little bit unfair. I think it was possibly from a youngster, because they can be a little bit larger, although not too much larger. So again, they're quite a dainty foot, the size of the animal. And I was hoping to try and catch a female and her calf on camera. That may have just inspired you. I just want to head down towards Chenapan. I'll show you the track in the book. There's another nice little trick with the kudu track, which I actually was going to show you and I forgot about it. Got sidetracked by the logenic track. Look here, because we had the pied kingfishers here yesterday, and there was also the green-backed heron, which I'd love to try and show you again. Every time I see it, it's already mid-flight and it flies off. I think there it is. There it is, and it's flown into the tree. We should be able to see it directly opposite us. Quite a small heron. But there is also a brown-hooded kingfisher, which is what caught my eye first, right below it. So there's the green-backed heron. There he goes. Now if we can maybe drop down to the bush just below it. Yep, keep going down. No, down. Down. Down, down, down. There we go. There he, just into the right of the screen now. There he is. Yep, there's the brown-hooded kingfisher that evaded us yesterday. And actually, I was talking about kingfishers this morning. The pied kingfishers, both male and female, are sitting opposite us to the right on the branch. If we're able to have a look at them as well, we can actually show the difference between male and female today.
Where's the female?
Over there. You see them? Both the male and female sitting together. There we go. Middle of the screen now. So female sitting on the left with the two spots on her chest, and the male sitting to the right with the two spots and the band. He wears the bikini. So we had the green-backed heron, was the first bird who flew off. Then the brown-hooded kingfisher with the bright red beak. And now the pied kingfishers. Also monogamous. And when they court, the male will often bring a fish as a present for the female to court her. And it looks like they had one chick at least, young male. Now just keep an eye on that female because it looks like she's possibly eyeing up a fish below her. And this is how they hunt. So the pied kingfishers, the malachite kingfisher, half-collared kingfisher, and even the giant kingfisher. All four of those species that will eat fish on a regular basis, with the main part of the diet, will pick a spot somewhere over the water and watch for fish as they swim by. But these little birds will also hover over the water. Whereas the green-backed heron is more of a wader, who wait in the shallows for fish to swim close. But maybe they're deciding not quite right yet. I'll have a quick look at the track. I'll just head back once more towards Gowrie Dam, just in case there's someone moving around. But this is the kudu track here. And this little dotted line is the front track I was talking about. So for these animals that live in the thick bush like the kudu and the bushbuck, they walk track on track to reduce the sound that they make as they walk through the bush. And just one little thing about the track for the kudu is the widest part is actually around the middle of the track, whereas other antelope, it tends to be towards the back of the track. So this is the female. So this is just a little bit longer, probably about 6 centimetres, rather than the 4 or 5 centimetres that was back there. It's probably the calf. The male's just a little bit bigger. So this would be the male at the top here. There we go. And I've actually drawn lines there so you can actually see the line that runs parallel. You can actually see that is the widest part of the track. There you go, kudu track. Well done to everybody getting it right. No other movement around Chelapan. Oh, just to say that, there goes the boy. Hopefully you can see. Let me just have a quick look. Wonder where he was, but he looks like he caught something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although he's chosen a very thin branch, because usually they'll whack it on the side of the branch to kill it, and then turn it around so that the head will be swallowed first, so the scales don't stick up as it's going down the throat. Quite often you'll find many birds doing that. It just goes to show his inexperience there. Oh, disappeared. It's always the way. Just flew in from nowhere. I think we got it, didn't we? We were on quite a wide shot. You might have just seen the splash of him. The aerial. You're right at the back. You're right at the back there.
Everything good?
Well, still no sign of movement down here. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say goodbye. But thank you very much for joining us here. Hope you enjoyed this morning. And as Howard Keel sang, "Oh, what a beautiful morning." I think it was awesome. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed seeing some animal behaviour and bird behaviour that we haven't seen before. So, hope you enjoyed it. My name's Tara. Sebastian's been on camera and Craig's been back in final control. And you've been aboard the Gunda here on Wild Earth. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for our AM safari. And